Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Shane and Grooms College Pick'em Show. We're here at week 4 of the 2014 season, and we're excited to bring you the College Pick'ems this week. First off, we want to talk about the Heisman hopefuls, how they did last week, and how we see them going forward. Shane, what do you think about the Heisman hopefuls last week, and what do you think about how they're going to do this week and going forward into the season?
I think Todd Gurley had a pretty good week for Georgia last week. Even though it came in a loss to South Carolina, he honestly was their offense. I think he was kind of mad he didn't get the ball there late in the game, which cost him the game. But I think he has a good week against Troy, and I think he continues to be my leader in Heisman. But I got Marcus Mariota from Oregon. I think he puts up big numbers this week against Washington State like he did last week. And I think he continues to get the Ducks winning. They look better to me than they have the past couple of years. I think this Oregon team is for real and has a chance to make it to the national championship if Mariota stays healthy. And then I have Jameis Winston. He got in trouble earlier this week for saying some inappropriate comments, but I think he still comes out in the second half and it's like he was still in the game the whole time. I think he puts up big numbers. And a game I think they blow Clemson out too.
Those are some good Heisman hopefuls, Shane. I still have Todd Gurley as my number one guy. I thought he had a good game against South Carolina, especially South Carolina really keying in on him and really trying to make Hudson Mason beat him last week. But I thought Gurley had some amazing runs. He had a third down run where he reversed field and got about 17 yards for the first down. Thought that was a huge run. Also, he had a run on the left side where he broke about 5 or 6 tackles for a 9-yard run. Also had a great run on the 54-yard touchdown, but got called back on the offensive hold. But I think I think he's above everybody else right now, and he's my leading candidate for the Heisman. The second guy I have probably Kenny Hill still. Granted, they haven't played very good competition, but he still is throwing for multiple touchdowns. I think he had 4 touchdowns last weekend. I'd like to see him against a little bit better competition. They play SMU this week, so they're not going to get it this week. But going forward, I also like the quarterback Oregon, Marcus Mariota. I think he's definitely in the mix if they keep winning and he keeps putting up stats. Jameis Winston, the scandal he was involved in this week, I think hurts him, Shane. Especially if he doesn't play at that really peak level that he played at last year. I just see him slipping down the ranks. I actually got a new guy in the mix this week. I got the Amari Cooper guy in Alabama. I mean, he's caught almost 450 yards passing so far. Hadn't had a lot of touchdowns. Got 2 touchdowns, and I'd like to see him what he does when they get into the meat of SEC schedule. But right now, he's putting up really good numbers.
He is, but the only thing he's got not going for him is out of the past 14 Heismans, 12 have been quarterbacks, and the other 2 were running backs. So that's the only thing he's got going against him.
Right.
But now we're on to our top 25 for week 4. We have number 1 ranked Florida State. They'll be hosting number 22 ranked Clemson.
You know, I thought that this was going to be a blowout until we got the news today that Jameis Winston wasn't going to play in the first half. I still think Florida State wins this game. The spread I have here is 17. I actually think they cover the spread. I'm not very high on Clemson, and I know it's in Tallahassee. I think Florida State covers the spread and wins big.
I do too. I think they really don't miss a step without Jameis. I think they come out and run the ball just like Georgia did all over that Clemson defense. And I think in the second half, if they need Jameis, he'll be able to put them ahead by a lot more. And I think they win this game by easily.
I think Florida State has enough talent on the offensive side of the ball to be okay without Jameis for a half. I really do.
Now number 2 ranked Oregon. They'll be playing at Washington State.
I think this is going to be my first straight blowout of the week. Washington State doesn't stand a chance against Oregon. I know it's in Washington State, but Oregon is going to get rolled, and they're going to roll big. They're going to cover the spread. I'm kind of surprised the spread's only 23.5. I think they covered the spread pretty easily.
I think the reason it is that low is because the past couple of years, Washington State playing at home, they have that high-powered up-tempo offense. They spread you out. I think that's why they got it, but I also think Marcus Mariota has the Ducks ready to win.
Here's the scary thing with Washington State with the up tempo. If they're not successful with the up tempo, it just gives Oregon more chances to score. So all four of them going up tempo, but they better score because Oregon's going to keep up tempo also.
Yeah, I think so too. Now number 3rd ranked Alabama, they'll be hosting Florida.
I know you like Alabama in this game, Shane. I think Florida's going to play Alabama tough. Don't sleep on Florida nationwide. I know you think they didn't play very good last week. They had to go to 3 overtimes to beat Kentucky. I think this is a little bit different Kentucky team. I think they're a little bit better this year. I think Mark Stoops has got them heading in the right direction. I think Florida is better than what most people think they are. I know it's in Alabama. I give Alabama the win, but I do not think Alabama covers a spread of 14.5. I think this is going to be a pretty good ball game.
The thing you got to know about Florida is that defense. Yes, Kentucky's gotten better. They gave up 37 points to a Kentucky team. Yes, it's still a Kentucky team. Yes, they're getting better, but 37 points on a Florida defense is pretty good. I don't think they gave up over 24 last year, and they had a horrific year. But I think Alabama handles this game easily, and Nick Saban will have his guys ready for this one, not looking past. I think they cover the spread of 14.5. Now, number 4th ranked Oklahoma, they'll be playing at West Virginia.
I think this is going to be a very tight game. I think Oklahoma squeaks this one out, but I think it's going to be close. The spread's 7. I don't think they cover the spread. I think they win by a field goal. I think Oklahoma squeaks this one out. Squeaks it out, Shane.
I do too. I have them winning by a field goal also, but I think something they have to worry about is Trickett for West Virginia, their quarterback. He's been putting up great numbers, throwing the ball around. He threw the ball around that first week against Alabama, which people like to call it NFL defense, and he wasn't really missing his guys. And I think West Virginia has a chance because they're at home to upset Oklahoma, but I think Oklahoma squeaks it out. Now, number 5th ranked Auburn, they'll be playing at number 20th ranked Kansas State.
Man, this one scares me as an Auburn fan. I've been scared about this game ever since I saw the schedule for this upcoming season. Going to Kansas State and on Thursday night, I got to talk to the AD down at Auburn and tell him to start scheduling some little bit easier non-conference games. I don't think this is going to be a very easy game for Auburn. I think they win it. I don't think they win it big. I think they win it by a touchdown or less. Auburn's defense is, like I've said this before on this show, it's not as good as I thought they would be this year. Unless they have made some improvements over the last week and a half, I think Kansas State's going to put some points up. I obviously think Auburn's going to put some points up on them, but I think they're going to need it in this game. I think it's going to be a close game.
I don't agree with you. I think Auburn's going to blow this one out.
Blow it out.
Blow it out. I've seen Kansas State play against Iowa State, and they struggled on offense until late in the game when Iowa State's defense got real tired.
This one is at Kansas State, though. They play good at Kansas State. Iowa State plays good at Iowa State. So this is a little different situation here.
I give that to them, but still it's an Auburn high-powered offense. They're going to get ahead early and shut that crowd up, and I think Auburn comes away and wins this one by 21.
I hope you're right, Shane. I hope you're right.
Now number 6 ranked Texas A&M, they'll be playing at SMU.
My second straight blowout of the week. Texas A&M, you know, I think they're a really good team. They really scare me in the West, being an Auburn fan. But man, they hadn't played anybody the last 3 weeks, and I think this is going to be a blowout. They're going to cover this spread of 33.5. I'm ready to see Texas A&M against some competition, but this is not going to be one of those weeks.
I am too. They beat South Carolina in the opening weekend, but since then no offense against the teams they have played, they haven't really played anybody good. I don't even think they've played anybody ranked within maybe the top 30. But Texas A&M, I believe they blow this game out. Kenny Hill has another big game.
Just stat stuffer.
That's all he's doing. But yeah, I think Texas A&M wins this game by 42. Number 7th ranked Baylor, they have a bye this week. They'll be going on next week to play Iowa State.
Probably their first decent test. They haven't played anybody this year. I mean, nobody. So I'd like to see this Baylor team against somebody that can actually play with them. and I think Iowa State will at home.
All right, now we got number 8 ranked LSU. They'll be hosting Mississippi State this week.
I know you don't want to hear it. But this is my upset of the week here, Shane. And this is
LSU at home.
This is a tough one to pick for me, but I think Mississippi State is going to be LSU at home this week.
They're going to go into Death Valley.
They're going into Death Valley. I know everybody's going to be drunk over there by game time, and they're going to throw rocks at the Mississippi State fans, and they're going to spit on them. That's how. Sorry, LSU fans, I've had some bad experiences. All right, but I think they go in there and they take care of business.
No. LSU handles this game easily, and they win by 21.
21.
They're playing at home.
21. Okay.
LSU wins this game by 21. Now, number 9th ranked Notre Dame, they got a bye this week. Next week, they'll be playing at Syracuse.
So they got 2 byes in a row.
Pretty much.
They got a bye and then they play Syracuse. I think Notre Dame takes care of Syracuse next week. We'll talk more about it next week.
I do too. Number 10th ranked Ole Miss, they're also on a bye. They'll be hosting Memphis next week.
We'll see how good Memphis is. They play UCLA tough. They play Ole Miss tough again. I mean, they're a pretty decent team, but.
Now, number 11th ranked Michigan State, they'll be hosting Eastern Michigan.
Michigan State, Eastern Michigan. I don't think Michigan State covers the spread here. 45.5. This is a good little bit about points. I think Eastern Michigan covers the spread. I think Michigan State obviously wins the game.
I do too, but I think the Michigan State Spartans, I think they got a little sour taste in their mouth from still getting beat by Oregon, and people question how good they are in the Big Ten. I think for the rest of the year, this Michigan State team will be ready, and they'll be beating teams as much as they can. But now, number 12th ranked UCLA, they have a bye this week. Next week,
a lot of team on byes this week, isn't it, Shane? As a college team, would you rather have a bye at the beginning of the year or toward the end of the year?
I want it towards the end to give my players some rest before you get into those real tough games.
I would too. I think I'd like it toward the end of the week, have some guys recoup, get over their injuries. But it seems like a lot of teams are having byes at the beginning of the year now.
But they'll be playing at Arizona State next week, which I think will be a real good game.
I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction. I will not be choosing UCLA next week, just to let you know. Okay.
Now, number 13th ranked Georgia. They'll be hosting Troy this week.
You talk about a team that should be coming in fighting mad. Georgia, guys, I owe you an apology. I had Georgia winning by 2 touchdowns last week, and I told you not to lose sleep over it. And you might not have lost any sleep before the game, but I know you lost some sleep after the game, because that was a tough loss as a Georgia fan. It had to have been. I thought you guys had opportunities to win that game. Just seemed like you lost it like you do often. Steve Spurrier has your number, and I would love to be privy to some of Steve Spurrier's conversations when he talks about the University of Georgia. He just owns you guys, and I know that there was some questionable offensive play calls, especially down there in the 4-yard line, not giving it to Gurley. But, they do put up 35 points. If you put up 35 points on the road, especially at South Carolina, you feel like you have a good chance of winning that game. I thought this was a different Georgia team this year, and I'm not so sure they are, Shane.
That's what I told y'all last week. I said you could base that Georgia team off of what they were going to do against South Carolina. And they did what they've been doing the past 10 years. I'm a Georgia fan, but I'm getting tired of seeing it. And I'm not going to go any farther into that. But I think Georgia wins this game versus Troy by 24. Now, number 14th ranked South Carolina will be playing at Vandy.
Vandy got a win last week.
They did.
They got their first win of the year against a very tough team in UMass. Is UMass? Are they in the FBS?
Yeah, they are.
They're in the FBS.